share the screen. So we have our wonderful co-person who is not here today, went ahead and made our slides for us. So just we're going to go over what our objectives are today. At the end of the session, you should have been able to log into Canvas through Clever or using a direct link. We should have, oh, wait a minute, we're on the third one. Sorry, that's what we already did. Okay, so the third one, this is part 3. We will be able to create a home page and you will be able to use the gradebook and SpeedGrader. So I'm going to go over how to create your basic home page, and Laura will go over gradebook and SpeedGrader. So go ahead.
We've had a lot of questions to come in today to our school emails asking about transferring stuff from your sandbox into your courses. And I noticed in the questions a few minutes ago, someone put the directions went away. If you go over to your account in Canvas and you click on account and you go down to global announcements, they're still there. They're just no longer popping up right when you log in.
Right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with your home page. You do have your sandbox still. You may or may not have your courses that you are working in. These are all my courses for this semester so far.
We're still seeing the PowerPoint.
They're still seeing the PowerPoint? Oh,
yep.
That's weird. Okay, let me stop it and fix it again. Sorry, guys. There you go. Okay. So to get started, you guys want to go to your dashboard and you can pick, honestly, you can pick any card you want at this point because they may or may not go away. But I'm going to go ahead and pick my homeroom class because I think that's just where I'm at. So when I click on my card, there we go. Since I have nothing in there, I'm working with a totally brand new course. This was just populated this morning. So the first thing, because I don't have anything in here, is I'm going to have to create a page. So if you go to your far left-hand side, you are going to see the navigational tools for the course, and you'll scroll down somewhere on here and you'll find pages. All you have to do is click on pages. And you will notice that it says no pages have been created yet. Do you want to add one? Absolutely. If you already have pages already in your course, you can add plus page, which will do the exact same thing. So you're going to come up here. I want this to be my home page, so I'm going to put home page. Inside this page, I want it to be, it's just going to be basic. I'm not going to put the Bitmojis in there. I'm not going to put the buttons in there. I'm just going to make it the basic. That's what I think we found, that if you want to make it special, make it spazzy, you know, bling it up, we can offer an additional training, and or there's tons of YouTube videos that tell you step-by-step instructions on how to do it. Honestly, that's how I learned how to do all my Bitmoji stuff, was through YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and make a basic homepage. So for me, I like things to be very organized. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a table where I'm going to add my things in there. So I'm going to make sure I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just what I'm going to do. In my tables, I'm just going to add some things that I want in there. So I'm going to say welcome, or I'm going to say my all about me. Put modules. Let's see, assignments. And these are all things that you can add pictures to that are like buttons and make them hotspots. And on this page, I'm going to put grades. What else in here? Discussion boards. And in the last one, let's see here, we got assignments. What else have we talked about? Oh, we did quizzes already. All right, so I've added little things, I've added words. Now, to make it a little bit nicer, let's say you want to add a picture in there. So I go to the first spot in the table I want, and I make sure I have space. I'm going to go over to the insert. I'm going to go to media or images because I want to upload a picture. And I have choices. I can go to upload images, course images, or user images, depending upon what I have. So since this is a brand new course and I'm going to pretend that we have nothing, I'm going to go to upload images. I can go to the computer to find a picture of me. I can go to Unsplash to find some stock pictures. Or if I had a video of me already, like say I have a YouTube video of me speaking, I can do that. So I'm just going to go to computer, and it says drag and drop. Hopefully it goes to my computer. Yes. So it's going to go to my desktop, and you can see I have a whole bunch of pictures already on here. But I don't know if I have any pictures of me in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick a picture already. I'm going to go ahead. I clicked on it, brought it over here. I'm going to hit submit. So now my button, or now under all about me, I have a picture. Now anal, so I want it to I like to have it centered. So that's my all about me button. Where is it going to? I have a page. I have to create a page for it. But right now we're just talking about making a home page. For modules, if you are interested in having quote unquote a button, you may go up to insert, go to images, upload. And for here, I'm going to go to Unsplash, and I'm going to type a word in there. I teach science, so 6th grade, this is a 6th grade class, I want rocks. Got lots of pictures of rocks. Some of them are pretty cool. I don't know if I were to type in buttons, what I would get. There are tons of websites that you can go to that you can make your own buttons, and pretty much a button is really just a picture that you've made, quote, like a hotspot. So I don't like any of these. I think I'm going to go back to rocks. I like that one. I go ahead and select it. Notice how when I select the picture, the stock picture, the blue button becomes blue, and I click on it. So you're going to, I'm going to stop for a minute. I'm going to be quiet while I go ahead and make my pictures. And you can go ahead and take a moment and do this yourself if you haven't already done so. And then the next step is going to be making these things linked before we make it a home page.
So a couple people said you're going a little bit fast. I think she showed you 2 examples now. So you make a table, and then you're just putting some text and a picture in each box of the table.
Correct. Okay, so what I've done, I'll go ahead and do it again. I made my table. I go to where I would like to make either A, a picture, or B, a hotspot. So here I go. I'm going to make this picture a link, but I'm not linking anything yet. I'm just setting everything up. So I come over here. I go to Insert. I go to Image, Upload Image. And again, here's where you have a choice. If you already have a picture on your computer that you would like to use, you would hit the computer. If you don't, and you're ready to see what the computer has or what Canvas has as stock photo, you want to hit Unsplash and type what you are looking for. Again, I'm teaching this is a 6th grade science. They're all about Earth. So I'm looking for different things that are earthy. There's another cool rock picture. I pick it up, I clicked it. It now is highlighted and the blue button for submit is there, and I click submit. And on my grid or my table, now there is a picture. I'm just going to go ahead and make it a little bit smaller. And it's already centered. So I have two more over here, so I'll do it 2 more times. I go to my grid that I want. I make sure I have a space for it. I go over to insert, and you can see images and media. Now, if you wanted to put a video of yourself in here, you can. And very easily, the way Canvas works is that you can record your video right in Canvas. As I'm doing with you with Zoom, Canvas would pop up their camera, which is connected to your computer, and you can videotape it right as I'm talking to you. But because we're Zooming, I can't use my camera. So it will not record my face. It will record my voice, but not my face. So I have that. If you already have a recorded video already, you can click your computer. I don't know. Yep. And I have a little recorded thing already. I click on my video. And there's my video. And let's see if I want to make sure it works. I was playing. This is not what I would ever want my kids to see. All right, so I know that's the video I want. I hit submit. And now, when my students look at this, they should that's not working. Sometimes it doesn't work.
And remember right now too, like I had another teacher contact me this afternoon, very frustrated. Couldn't get the Zoom LTI to work the way it was supposed to today. Worked yesterday in the training they did. They're still uploading many, many things and finalizing courses and everything else. You're going to see things work and not work back and forth probably for the next week or two until they get everything all ironed out in there. But eventually it will work the way it's supposed to.
All right. So now I got my icons with my little words on it. What do we do next? Okay. So I don't like this. I'm going to go ahead. I'm trying to fix my grid because it's really weird that that doesn't work. All right. So we're going to hyperlink. Now remember, none of these pages are here yet that I know because this is a brand new course. Never did anything in it. I need to make sure I have pages linked to these before I make it a home page. So first of all, I got to save this one. Save it. Now, it says this is a home page, but remember that's what I named it. It is not a home page. What I want to do is I want to go over to the 3 little buttons on this side. I can't use it. Oh, it's not published. You'll find out that if you get over here and that grayed out, use as front page is grayed out, you know that you didn't publish it yet. Don't forget that step. So I'm going to publish it first. Then I come over here to the 3 dots. And now I can use it as my front page. Think of your home page to your Canvas course like the title of a book. This is where everything, this is when they open it, this is what they're going to see. We also like to refer to the home page as the landing page. So think of it as when they open it, they land on this page. So I'm going to go ahead first and make this my front page. You'll notice that once I make it a front page, this little blue, grayed out area, front page shows up. So I know that this is the front page of my Canvas. So I need, for me, I guess if we're just going to make this a home page without any of the other pages, we can do that. We go to home. All right, so now we have our page or your pages that you want. And this, you're going, I like this. This is what I want my kiddos to see. I am going to click on the icon, on the word home on the left-hand side in the navigational tools. It should go. Notice there's nothing here because we did not identify a home page. On the right-hand side of this, you will see a button that says Choose Home Page. When you click on the Choose Home Page, a course selection will pop, menu box will pop up, and it says, it tells you, what would you like to display as your home page? You have a choice. You can have it go, you can have your students go directly to your course modules if that's what you want your students to see first. You can have it go directly to their assignment page if that's what you want to see them, if that's what you want them to see first. If you are teaching, and this is more, I think, a high school thing, if you want them to see the syllabus first. I know my son is at USF, and all of his courses go right to his syllabus page. So when he opens up Canvas, it goes right to the syllabus page first. It's what you want. Elementary friends, I think it would be better to have a home page like what we created and have all your little friends go to one location because you don't want them to get overwhelmed. Better for you as a teacher to be overwhelmed than the moms and dads and the little ones get it. So I'm going to go ahead, since I've already identified that page that I was using as my front page. Notice, page is right here. This is the page. If this is not the page that you want, you can go to that change button, and then all the pages that you've already created for that module pop up, and you can pick which page you want. But since this is fresh, never done it before, I'm going to hit save. Maybe. All right. So now how do I know that this is my home page? Right here. This little line next to the word lets you know on your navigational page, your navigation, where you are. So it says I'm at home. So now if you're at this point and you've got all those other pages made, your modules page, and you want to see, okay, I'm ready to send this out to my kids. What does it look like? You can hit the student view. And you'll know that you're in student view because your screen will have a purple rim around it to let you know. So this is what your kiddos are going to see. They'll see this. I haven't hyperlinked anything to them, so nothing is going to work. It looks like I must have been fooling around with it over here earlier. These are the 3 things that are hyperlinked to the home page that my kiddos have access to. So if you are a Bunsy person and you use Bunsy to do all your assignments, click on Bunsy and it should take you right to Bunsy, Common Lit, Everfi. I have not even started looking at this, so I'm not touching it. I'm going to go ahead and leave student view.
I don't think, Christina, from what I understand from the district, we can't link from the homepage directly to like a Khan Academy or something like that because it's actually running through an LTI.
Okay.
But you could go into your module,
right,
and navigate to where that is and have that on your page and shoot them from the home page to that page, and then that links to the.
So I'm just going to head and just going to put, as you can see, I'm just making a title, guys. That's all I'm doing. That's why I'm moving fast. So, and if once I'm in a module, you can make pages. Now all I did was hit that little blue button in the module's name, and then I come over here to the add to pages. I don't have anything in here. New page. And I'm just going to say You can see I have titles already in here from my previous courses. That's the only reason why I'm going fast here. And I hit add button. So now I have modules. I want to link my modules. Here I am in my modules. I come up here to, oops, sorry guys. I come up to my address in the hyperlink. Oh God, I have my ribbon where I can see where my modules is. I want to highlight it, right click on it, and hit copy. I'm doing this to link my home page to go directly to my modules for my students. So now that I have copied the address of where the modules are for this Canvas course, I can go back to home. Okay, I need to hit edit because right now I can't do anything. I find my modules that I put here. Now here's the thing. I want to make my picture my button. So I want my kids to be able to hit the rocks and go to modules. So I click on the picture. I hit insert, link. Now you notice that when I highlight link, I get two choices, external links and course links. Course links are going to will allow you to link things already in your Canvas course. An external link would be to something outside of Canvas, whether it be YouTube or a Quizlet or a Kahoot, whatever you have it linked to that we don't already have a hyperlink available to us through school. So when I come over here to course links, everything that is available with my Canvas courses here. Now, mind you, I already have modules. So I go to modules. There it is. I can click on it and it automatically hyperlinked it. See how see when I touch it again, it says link options. That means it's already linked. I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to do it with the word. I pick module. I pick whatever it is I want to hyperlink. I highlight it or I click it, hit insert, link, then course links, find on the course links what I want to do. So I have modules. I have the first day of learning in the digital environment because for my e-learning children, they will be taking a digital citizenship class before we actually get into until we get into the meat of science. So I'm done. I linked it. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the page after I've linked everything I want and hit save. How do you know? Yes.
Sorry. A good question came up, and I'm not positive what the answer is. I don't know if you know the answer, Christina. If they create let's say they don't have their courses yet, and they create their homepage in their sandbox, and they link it in their sandbox, when they transfer that to their course, are the links going to stay intact?
Oh, no, I don't know. We can find out.
Yeah.
Let's do it right now. Hold on. Hold that.
That's it. And I didn't have a course to import it to, so I couldn't test it.
I have a course. Let's see. Ooh, what's this? This just came up.
Cross-listing update. Oh, we're going to want to talk about that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
That's coming up a lot in the questions.
Yeah, I know, because I have it too.
Yep.
So let me go ahead here. So here's a good thing. So you notice how as soon as I went on my dashboard, we had messages. Anytime the district puts out a message, this is how your students are going to see it. If your school sends out a message, this is how your students are going to see it. Automatically like that. All right, so let me find, here we go. Let me go to my courses because I know I've got something here. I think I have a sandbox. Thank you all for being so patient, and I can hear Laura very quickly and fast putting all her typing as answering your questions. All right, so I think this is a show. Nope, wrong one. See, I don't even know what I have anymore. Oh, that one.
So
Okay.
a lot of questions while you're doing that. A lot of questions about for elementary that they have multiple grades or multiple courses within a grade. Should they be cross-listing? Should they just create one homepage? What might be some of the best ways to attack that? I know there's several really good ways. I don't know if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, so well, I'll take a moment. So there's two ways I've been working with some elementary school teachers is, first of all, talk to your principal or your admin to find out how they want to go forth with it. One group of elementary school teachers have decided to use their homepage as their Canvas course. So they're putting everything in their homepage, their math, their science, their social studies, everything in there, and they're doing their modules by day or by weeks. So Monday is going to have the one teacher that I was talking to, Monday starts off with math. And in that module, the pages go math, all the assignments for math, then science, all the science, social studies, reading, so that when moms and dads are working with their kiddos, they're able to follow it sequentially. Another teacher is doing their modules by here's all math, here's all science, here's all reading, here's all social studies. And then they're just directing their students to go to the modules, and inside their subject modules are the day by day. I'm teaching all 3 grades of science, so I'm putting all my 6th graders in one course, all my 7th graders in one course, and all my 8th graders in another course. And I'm just teaching out of those 3 courses. So that's what we're talking about, cross-linking. And hopefully, I didn't even get a chance to read it, but I only saw something about Friday. So hopefully something will come out on Friday. Okay, so hopefully that answers your questions and we can get more later. So if you're in your sandbox, okay, and you want to take your sandbox and you want to export it into your class, what we would do is we would export. First of all, what I did was I went to my course, I went to settings of the sandbox, and I went to course details. On the far right-hand side, you have lots of questions, you have lots of things you can do. I'm going to export this course. So I'm going to hit export course content. And I want to export the entire course because I worked hard on this. It tells you if you don't have that much in there, it could take a couple minutes. You might be able to go out and get your coffee, come back. All right, so now it says it's been exported. So I should be able to then go to my dashboard. Find the course I want to be imported in. So remember I said I wanted to import it into my homeroom. Now I'm here. Notice on the side it says import existing content, import further comments. You know, that's what we're talking about if you're importing something from the district. So I'm going to click import existing content because I should have I thought I imported it. So it's going to come over here, wants to know what. And you can see all the examples. I am going to copy a Canvas course because I think I have it here. I'm going to select the course and it's IPS. Yours might be Sandbox. I want everything in it, so I want all content. Sometimes if this is next year or next semester, you may want to copy and paste what you have, and that would be where you just want to adjust the dates and times. This should be new. I'm going to hit import. In the far right-hand corner, it tells you the current copy, where you're getting it from, and it's running, and it's telling you how fast it's going. So it's running, it's running. I feel like that,
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, or or like from oh, the night at the museums where he goes,
Right.
I'm thinking. All right, so it's completed, but there were issues. What are the issues? We're gonna find out. So I couldn't find some of my files. All right, so it was missing some imports. Not a problem, not what I'm worried about. So I go to my home page. Okay, so remember that's the one I originally set up. I'm gonna come over here to choose home page because I don't want this anymore. Remember I said you can change, so I'm gonna look for change. Hopefully it's in here. Let's see here, home page number 2. Let's see if I wanna make sure, because I don't remember what I named it. I think it's, I have to find it, so I think it's this one. Welcome back to school 2. I clicked it, and that should have been it. I have to change it to home page first. I gotta change it first. So let me, sorry guys, this is all, they've changed it up a little. So first of all, I need to I need to not make this my front page anymore. Sorry. This is what happens when you already have a front page. I need to remove it as my front page first. Now I find the page I want as my front page. I selected the page I hopefully want for my home page and say front page. Okay, go back to home. Okay, and then I go choose home page because remember I had to go back and forth. And I want that front page, welcome back to school 2. Please be working. Please, 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 fingers crossed. Yes. So now there's my home page. I need to see if it works, right? So I'm gonna go to student view. Everybody please keep your fingers crossed. So here's what my students see. I hit modules and if they're not published, I should get a big lock button. Yep, so the links work as of today.
Yay.
Yay.
But you have to import the entire course. If you only import a module, so you have to import the whole thing. So some
Right.
of you in your sandbox have multiple different things that you were working on.
So you got to make sure that, so then you would do course by, you would, instead of importing the entire course, you would be importing content from the course. So
Right.
if I want, so.
But if you're importing your home page and content.
Right. So let me get to a new page so we can see if this works. So that one doesn't have anything. I have a lot of cleaning up to do. All right. So again, how do we import? We go to import existing content because you have a sandbox. We go to content. What do you want from it? We're going to copy things from a Canvas course. I'm going to find my sandbox. Let's see if I can find my sandbox. There we go, Christina Sandbox. I do not want the complete course because Lord knows what's in there.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to come down here to the content for the specific content. Okay, it was supposed to pop up. Let's find out. Waiting for selection. So then I come over here to the select content. Woo, there we go. Look at that, 12 modules. Do I want all 12 modules? Heck no. I think I will just take unit, wait, I know that one's not there. Let me go to unit, let's go unit E, force and motion, because I know that's there. I select it. I scroll down. think that should have been it. I think I gotta make it go down. No, just want unit C. Okay. And then you just gotta scroll down. Sorry, I had to get to that. I can show the body. To select content, it's in queue. So it's gonna take some time. Hopefully, there it goes, it's running. You always, sometimes it's like, you know it works, but then sometimes you're like going, please let it work. All right, so if I go over to modules, fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. There's everything from my sandbox that was that module that I only wanted to bring into that class. So I know you're gonna ask me to do it again, aren't you?
I want to know if your links from your homepage work to that module now that you only brought in one piece.
No, because I don't have a homepage, because I went to a brand new homepage.
Okay.
So in order
If
for,
you imported your homepage, though, those links are going to be broken, right?
yes,
Okay, that's what I thought.
yes. So if you bring in the entire course into, if you bring in an entire course from another course to another course, the links work. But if you bring in just a section of it, you're gonna have to link these things again.
Right. And that's what I have been telling teachers at my school is go ahead and create your homepage, create your modules.
And then link.
Because they had more than one thing that they were teaching, and then import the pieces you need into each course when they get there and link them. The linking itself takes less than a minute, so.
Right. So it does work. This is great. So now that you have all your different modules created in your sandbox, now you can start organizing them in your courses, if you have courses already. I saw some of the messages in there saying that you still don't have courses. I get it.
Mine just showed up like 10 minutes to 5, so
yeah,
they were not there at 4 o'clock when I left my school.
Yeah, so when I left this morning, I had a couple. I had the ones where you see the Bitmojis on there. So I had 1, 2, well, we have another one, but I only had a couple. All of these have just popped up. So there'll be some work to do. But that's how you make a homepage. Again, it's very simple. We're not showing you how to make buttons because honestly, a button is just a picture that's been hyperlinked. And so you can make buttons on your own in Word. And that's basically by making a square, coloring it, putting a word in it, and taking a screenshot of it, and boom, it's in there. Or you can there's several websites like Canva, Da Buttons, multitude, lots of them that you can use to make and create.
Okay, Christina,
Yes,
question for you in the questions. I made a homepage using the Google Slides and uploaded it to Canvas as a single image. It has multiple buttons on it. How do I link them?
They're already, so you have to do, if you're using Google Slides, you have to link everything when you're in Google Slides. You cannot link them once they're in home. Once you've imported it into your Canvas account, you can't hyperlink it. So you have to do all that while you are in Google Slides.
Because it's just an image when you bring it in.
Correct. So this is my Google slide. I've done it. So when I click currently, if I haven't screwed up with it, I have the information in my slides already. The good thing about a Google slide is I can go into my Google Slides and change that picture and change that page. And then when it updates on my Canvas, that picture will change. And this page, if I type it in there, will change. If I go to assignments, should still be. So those are all my assignments because remember I linked everything, the whole course in, everything is still here. Okay, but if I had only linked, if I only had brought in one module of this, nothing else would link. Does that answer the question? Hopefully. Again, if you have questions about Google Slides, there are a plethora of way more than I can ever imagine of different people who have given a how-tos on Bitmoji Classroom, bringing it into Canvas, about how do you get rid of the black bands, how you get rid of the little buttons on the bottom. There's all that in there, and you can just Google it on YouTube and it'll take you there. So that's a home page and a quick review of how to make pages.
Right.
So
a lot of questions about how students are coming in. Students for each class that they are rostered into, they will have a card. I'm not sure how elementary rosters. I know middle and high school rosters by class period.
Yeah.
So my students, when they log in on middle school, they will have a card for each one of their courses. They'll have one for their homeroom. For every one of their courses, they'll have a separate card with a separate teacher that's controlling that card. Just like they walk into a separate classroom every period of the day.
Right. So for what I understand from elementary, talking to my elementary friends this past week, is every subject they have a card. The only way your elementary kiddos are going to be able to see these cards is if you publish them. So if you don't publish them, they aren't going to see anything on their course. That's important for you to know. So right now, when your students go onto their dashboard, it's completely empty unless you have published their course. If you have not published, right now, you can see none of my courses are published. So when my IPS kids go and onto, in fact, I already got an email for one saying there's nothing there. When they go to their dashboard, it's completely empty.
Right.
Once you hit the publish button, then they can see what's there. So for my elementary friends, this is where some of them were talking about only using their homeroom as their landing page and building out of that.
And then you would only publish that.
Correct. For those of our friends who are like Laura and I, who have several of the same classes, looks like, God Lord, how many I have, we're going to cross-link them, and they'll only be actually working out of one course.
Right. Hey, I'm definitely cross-listing mine because I have 3 rosters to every single class period.
Same here.
So I have like 20-something cards for my classes right now.
2, 3. So I have
quite a few. I'm not populating that many.
No, I'm only working out of one. So I highly recommend that if you're in the same boat as Laura and I, that you get with your you read that first message.
Right, I was gonna say.
I don't know what happened that Friday. Well, whatever that said about something about Friday, they were going to be cross-linking. Read it. Don't just do what I did and click out of it. Read it so that you understand. Like I know that was it you, Laura, or Michelle, that was 3 hours on hold yesterday?
That was Michelle.
So also, we've been told to check with your Canvas champion at your site. They also are supposed to be able to help you. So if you have any questions about what we are doing, your Canvas champion, each school has a Canvas champion on your site. Find out who they are, and they also can help you. Because I know that, like Laura was saying, we're getting a lot of emails, and we're trying to answer them as well as help our own teachers and help ourselves. Like you can see, we're all in this. We all got our stuff populated.
And Michelle and I both had our positions changed on Friday. So we're trying to scramble to move rooms and everything else. And currently I'm like 19 meg over quote in my email, so I couldn't reply if I wanted to.
Yeah, so I'm staying in my same place. But anyway, so that's how you make a home page. Again, step by step, it's like you first make a page, you identify that page as your front page, and then you make it your home page. So there's 3 steps in making it. And then once it's your home page, that becomes your quote unquote landing page, and that's what your kiddos see.
Yep. So we have some questions about if they build everything in the homeroom and then they want their grades to go into the individual courses. So that's not going to happen. What you can do though, and we're going to go into grades in just a minute, what you can do is when you make the assignment, you can give it an assignment group, and you can make each of your different contents a different group. And then when you sort them in your grade book, they will be sorted together. Canvas is going to calculate the overall grade based on everything that's in that course. Everything that you told to count as a grade in that course. Okay?
Okay, so I'm reading some of these because it's addressing about, you were told by yesterday by admin, we are not allowed to have any Bitmojis in our Canvas per district. Not true. You have autonomy to do whatever you want. District would like you to use their very generic, my opinion, vanilla buttons, and that's okay. If you don't have the time nor the finesse to do it, it satisfies it. But you are allowed to do what you want with your page because you have autonomy.
Right.
I just like Bitmoji because until the craze is over, and then I'll go to something else. When I first started doing Canvas, I think 8 years ago, all my buttons were Despicable Me buttons. So, and I taught elementary. So everything had a Despicable Me, Minions, all that stuff. So you can do what you want with them. It's think of your Canvas course as the window to your classroom. So if you're an e-learning teacher like me, I want my kids to know who I am and see what personality I have, and this is how I'm going to do it.
Right. And so the district very much, especially right now, and especially in looking back at the last quarter, which really wasn't e-learning, it was crisis teaching. But when they look back at that and they look at the difference in learning opportunities that students had from teacher to teacher and school to school, we're a very large district. When you look at a very large district, the easiest way to make sure that everybody gets a good education is to make everybody do something in an exactly standardized way. But we also know that standardized teaching is not what's going to really teach our kids for what they need. So you're going to know your students, and your CTA contract says that you have autonomy to teach your content the way that you best see fit for your students. Now, they might ask you to justify that, but if you've truly done it in the best interest of your students, that shouldn't be hard to do. So you do have autonomy, and if you say, well, you know, my students were really confused because all the buttons look the same and the Bitmojis really help them be able to understand it, you're meeting your students' needs. So
I'm sorry, if I was going too fast for you. I apologize. We're trying to go slow, but as you know, when you guys know something really well, you kind of go click, 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 click. So I apologize if I was not going slow enough. We will take that into consideration as we keep on going.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. So I'm not going to be seeing the questions in order for me to be able to see my screen. Okay, so now we're going to talk about grading and gradebook. So in grading, we're looking for the an assignment or quiz. Those are the things that generate columns in your gradebook. We talked about assignments last time. So I'm going to go ahead and go to an assignment. I'm just in my sandbox. I'm finding an assignment. Yes, we were having discussion. Green is published. The inside of the rocket doesn't turn green. Just the outer line, and then the green button over here tells you that it's published. You can unpublish anything at any time. Okay, so that was another question that had come up. So if I go into this particular assignment right here, I'm in the assignment. I see the assignment now. Over here on the right-hand side, I can download the submission, so I could make a copy of all of the things that have been submitted if I wanted to keep that in a portfolio someplace. Or I can go to SpeedGrader. SpeedGrader is how you're going to grade everything. So when I go over to SpeedGrader, I noticed that the first thing that comes up is my test student. Now, I actually have Christina and Michelle in this course, but they didn't complete this activity. So they don't show up as the first thing that comes up. Your students default to alphabetical order. And you'll notice that there's a dot here next to test student. That means that their assignment was submitted, but is not graded. These two are grayed out. I can click on them, and what it's going to say is the student has not submitted this assignment. I can simply use the arrows to move forward one or back one. I like using the drop down, at least in e-learning last semester. The drop down worked better for me because they were doing it asynchronously, so everybody wasn't submitting at the same time. So instead of having to scroll through every kid, I could just pull it up and find the next orange dot and click on the next orange dot. And here's what I submitted. Okay, I didn't finish my work. I only did the first row. This particular assignment in assignments is out of 0 points. If I had a score here, I could put that score into the box. And that's the score that it now assigns in my gradebook. If I wanted to download this particular submission, there's a download button right here on the right-hand side of the actual submission. Last semester, I had my students submitting work, and some of the items that they did, they might have had a lab that, because of all of the pictures, was 5 pages long. Well, some of them were able to scan it and submit it as one item. Some of them took 5 pictures with their cell phone and submitted 5 images. I would then have a list of 5 images, 5 different files right here that they had uploaded, because they can upload as many files as they want. And I can show you that in a minute. And then I would just click on the next one, the next one, the next one to see the next page, and they would continue to populate in this window. I can also move this window over. This is nice when I have a rubric attached. That way I can see my rubric nice and large in my right side window, because I can zoom this and make this as large as I need to, and then I can scroll within the window to wherever I need to on the document. This particular one, because it was uploaded as a PDF, you have some things that you can do. I can point annotate, and I think that one is select, if I'm not mistaken, maybe not. This button will make it full screen. Depending on how the assignment was submitted will be what options you have to annotate directly on the document itself that they submit. That's why I went to using rubrics. The rubrics are really, really nice because no matter what kind of a document it came in, all you do is click on the boxes on the rubric and it gives you your scores. And they took away all my stuff today, so I don't have one really good one to show you. So I can put that in here. I can add a comment. I can type in a comment. If you know, you didn't follow the directions, or let's be polite, right? Please follow the attached assignment directions, right? And then I can attach a file that has those directions on it. I can also give them audio and video feedback. Again, it's not going to work right now because I'm using my camera for Zoom, but normally I would be able to do both either voice or webcam, and it would record. Or if I had a short video, like I'm seeing the same type of mistake over. Number one, I'd probably be addressing it in my Zoom session, but I could actually have a little short clip already made up, and I could just upload that into here, and that would give them a video comment or audio comment. And I can also download the submission comments. When students submit their work, they can add comments as well. If I submit this, it's graded. Now, if I go over to my grade book, which is over here on the far left-hand side, looks like a little book. It will take me directly into my gradebook. And notice that, where's my assignment? Well, because I have lots of assignments sitting in my sandbox and only this one over here that's done, right? So this one is submitted. This one is submitted and not graded. That's why it has a little paper there. I could click on that. Go over to Speed Grader. And it'll take me right into Speed Grader for that assignment. Now notice that this one has a drop-down menu here where the submission is. That's because it was submitted more than one time. So if you allow additional submissions, all of your submissions, every time they submit, they'll be analoged right there. It always pops up with the most recent one, and it will pop up as ungraded. I didn't upload a file. In this case, I used a text box, and I just typed in the text box. Okay, and as a student, I had sent myself I had sent my teacher a message that said, sorry, I uploaded the wrong file. Okay, and then as the teacher, I could give it a grade. Didn't do anything. I could give it another comment. Please go back and look at the assignment again. If you're having difficulty, please contact me, whatever, right? And submit, and that will go to the student. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute and see if we're good on some questions there, and then we'll do another little piece of it.
Okay, so lots of questions.
Okay, I figured.
Yep, okay, so, and pretty much nothing to do with what you were showing. So questions that were on here. All right, so questions about Edgenuity and Achieve 3000. If I'm not mistaken, the links are going to be in the far right-hand corner that will say Achieve 3000 and Edgenuity, or whatever Edgenuity is called. And then those will go right to those it's a single sign-on. So think of Canvas as a super duper Edsby/Clever. And so they'll click on the Achieve 3000 button, and it will take them directly to the Achieve 3000 course that they are in under their student name. Right?
So don't go and hide. So when you're going and you're hiding all that stuff that's down that left-hand stream, if you hide that link, it's not going to be there, and they won't be able to access it.
Correct. Some of the other courses were, one question came up and said, how does this works great for e-learning? How does it work for face-to-face brick and mortar? And to be honest with you, Canvas, when I started using Canvas, I was a brick and mortar elementary school teacher. I was not e-learning at all. So how this worked as elementary and then into high school was I used this as my grade book. I taught my third graders how to do their assignments. We would do a regular classroom. They would then, using a phone, I used to have an iPad in my room, where they would go take a picture of their work, and then I taught them how to use the buttons to submit their work. You
can use your classroom dot camera.
Dot camera works. You have that. Some of you may have the desktop in your room, student use. Okay, you can use it for test. They can take a quiz on. They can take a regular quiz on paper, and then they can pull out their computers, their phones, whatever, and put the grades in. Just transfer it over like that, or they can be taking it on their phone the same time they have the paper copy to write the answers in. The great part was for discussion boards. They could do discussions, so they can do group projects under discussions.
Yes. And when you make the assignments, I wouldn't make it just on paper, because then they don't have the electronic submission choice. I like that because it really gives you the ability to see when they submitted it. So, no, I submitted on time. No, you didn't. It's date and time stamped right there. You turned it in late. Everything is there. If they're submitting in Canvas, everything is there. If they do submit to you paper pencil, and I will show you this. Let me go back to screen sharing. If they do submit paper pencil, you can go right into your grade book and you can still put in a grade. So let's say that test student finally did submit this, and they submitted it to me now, paper and pencil. And that's fine. I can go over to where it was. I can click in that box, and it was out of 6. I can put a 6 in there. Boom, they now have a 6 out of 6 in the grade book. So you can enter grades just like you always did for paper submissions. You can still take paper submissions. I know the discussion that I've heard from the trainings I've been in and from my school is they don't want anybody touching something somebody else has touched. So how do you handle paper? How do you handle collecting stuff, grading it, and getting it back to them? So that's why I set up my dot camera with my student computer, and I'm going to let them, you know, if they don't have a cell phone. I'm middle school, so most of my kids have cell phones, but those that don't, they can just go over, take a quick picture of the assignment and upload it. So that's kind of how I'm doing that.
Another question they have, and we can go into that, is how do we make groups?
Yep. So that's all back on assignment, so I can go back and do that in a minute.
Yep. And trying to think. If I missed your question, I apologize. They're like coming in so fast.
I know, right?
Also, another question we have is how do we add a resource teacher? That's relatively simple.
Super easy. You go over to people. You need their Lawson number. You go over to people, add people, SISID, right? Because that's the name of the system that runs in the background that logs our Lawsons and so forth. SISID. You type in their Lawson number, and then you can assign them whether you want them to be a teacher, a TA, a designer, observer, a student. You assign them a role. If you assign them a teacher role, they can edit the course just the same as you can. If you assign them a TA, they can go in. I don't believe they can alter content. Is that correct?
I think you're correct. Yes, a TA can only, they cannot change content.
Right.
And if you give them as an observer, then that's a parent account. Like I know a lot of you probably got, when it populated, you got kids, and then you got students, you have observers. Those are parent accounts that.
And you are not creating those.
No.
Just like in Edsby, when they log in to their MySpot and they sign up, it will automatically link them to their students and make them an observer in your course.
Right.
Okay, so don't mess with doing anything with parents. If a question comes out about that, send them to make sure they're signed up for MySpot. If they still have a problem, send them to your tech person if it's a tech issue, or send them to your administration.
Okay.
There's all kinds of FERPA laws and everything about, you know, if they're not tied in there, there might be a reason they're not tied in there.
So somebody wanted to say that when you're calling Canvas, they're good about calling you back. Yes, they are good about calling you back, but it's still the fact that they right now, they have some of the things they can't even do. You stay on the hold for all that time, and then they come back and say, you need to talk to your Canvas people. And your Canvas people are Troy, Chris, at the district. So, yeah. So let's see, how do you put Edgenuity grades into Canvas? So you make an assignment.
Manually, yep.
You make just an assignment that says Edgenuity grade or whatever it is called. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't even seen what Edgenuity is for us yet because I've been so busy working on Canvas for my class, my school.
I will tell you, I've spent the last 2 days doing all of the Edgenuity trainings, including the 6-8 Canvas plus Edgenuity. And basically what's going to happen is they're going to come in. It's not called Edgenuity over here on the side. It's called Edge Courseware Dashboard. So that's where you will access it. That's where they will access it. Once you're logged into your Canvas, like Christina said, it's single sign-on. So you just, once they're logged in, they can click on that and they're automatically logged into Edgenuity. They would do their work there in Edgenuity. You can pull the reports in Edgenuity. there are modules in the Commons, I know for science, I presume it will be true for the other core contents as well, that you can import that are specifically for the Edgenuity. So I think the science one are all Amy. And so let's see, Amy, intern. Yeah, I don't want to update those right now. Okay, why is it not searching for me? It's not unless somebody else is Amy. No, it's instructional materials. And the other thing, what they've told us now is that if it's got this purple banner, that means that it was school district approved. And then if it's got this red, it's been approved in the Canvas. So if you've got both of those two, you're good to go with it. If we look for Amy here.
There she is.
Yeah, but that's all IPS.
Oh.
That's all IPS, which is different.
Stop.
Okay, pulled it up before just fine. Again, they're doing so much stuff in Canvas right now that
There.
Here you go. 7th grade, right? So this actually has, what they did is they went through, because Edgenuity is set up by quarter. And what they did is they went through and they literally made each one of the assignments to match all of the stuff that's in Edgenuity. So if you imported this module, if you're strictly using the Edgenuity, like they have it rolled, and you import this module, then all of your assignments will populate into your gradebook, and you'll just have to physically type them in. You won't have to create all the assignments. And the other thing that they did is Mo and Mindy went through, and in Edgenuity, they have some PDFs that are like the guided notes. And so you have to, they can't write on them, right? They would have to download them, print them out, write on them, take a picture, submit it, which they can do. But Mo and Mindy went through and made them all editable. And so they can literally type right on them, save them to their device, and then upload them. And of course, it's going to take a few minutes for it to do.
We're on TV. Quiet. Sorry.
So I'm going to click out of there. But yes, so you can either, if you're using only parts of it, you could just publish parts of it. So you could just pick and choose what you have published and what you don't if you only wanted to use parts of it. Or if you're, you want to create your own, that's fine too. For anything that you're going to transfer a grade from Edgenuity into Canvas, you're going to have to create an assignment. Now, you don't have to put a lot of content on an assignment page. And in fact, like here, the scientific inquiry participation, there's 3 parts. Science has selected 3 parts for each lesson in Edgenuity: the warm-up, the instruction, and the summary. And so they have those 3 linked together because in Edgenuity, it just gives them a 100 if they complete it as a completion grade, and it does not count towards their grades. Okay, so they've put these in here where they've lumped the 3 together, and it gives them a participation grade. And if you have questions, go through and take the, if you are science, go through and take the Edgenuity plus science 6 through 8, and they go through all of this and exactly how you can use it.
So we had some other questions about, can you show how, oh, don't X out of that so you can read it.
I'm not, but you know what? I want to go over here real quick and see global announcements. Someone was saying before, so the other global announcements. So this is current. Recent, there's nothing there. So the other ones about how to bring it in, that other video is now gone. But I suspect that if you go into the Commons and you go into the teacher help module, actually it's in help, sorry about that. If you go into help and there's the student guidebook, the family guidebook, and the teacher guidebook, I bet if you go in there, I bet it's linked in there now.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm sure they didn't desert you. All right, so.
Another question is how do you, can we show how students can take a picture of an assignment and upload? Guys, there's different ways, but Laura said they can use the dock camera And the dock camera has, most of the dock cameras that are at the school have a freeze button that allows you to take a picture of something that's been put under it. I like to use the cell phone because that's two ways. If they already have a cell phone, is they can download, and I highly suggest this to especially middle school kids, is have them download the Canvas student app. There's different apps. There's a parent app, a teacher app, and a student app. The student app is red, like COVID. The teacher app is yellow. So if they upload the student app and they log in, then they can just, all they do is go to the assignment, click on it, click, and hit submit. If they don't have, if you're at school, if you're a brick and mortar parent, teacher, and they don't have a phone, we're talking about little kids, or they don't have a phone, you can use a dock camera, and then they save it, and then it just goes right, they just got to log on to Canvas from that desktop and submit it that way.
Yep.
Just like it is on Edsby.
Yep.
In that sense.
Okay, so I can show you real quick if I go into student view. When the student is looking at an assignment, so if I come to this same one, that's the visibility rules. I should probably do a different one now, but because I've already submitted it, so my button says resubmit, but it gives them the assignment just like you put it in. And then in this case, because this was a PDF, what I did is I downloaded it. They can download it by clicking on the name. If they don't see the preview, so you can force it. Remember last week we talked about you can force it to open right in the assignment, or if they minimize it, they get this little box. That just makes it, they see it in Canvas or they don't. But if you click on the actual assignment, the title, it will download it down to the corner, just like it always does when you download something. You may have to teach students this if they've never done it before. What I did is I downloaded it, and then I saved it on my desktop, and I opened it in Word, and then I typed on it in Word. And then when I came here, I hit the submit button, and I have choices. I don't think the Office 365 is working right this minute, because that's an LTI, and those are the things that they're still working on. Eventually, you would be able to put a document from 365 in your assignment, and they would be able to submit it through 365, so they would get a copy through 365, mark it up, and submit it that way. That's not turned on right yet. This particular assignment, they gave me the choices when they created the assignment of doing it by uploading a file, doing a text entry, doing a website URL, creating media, and then these two are always going to show up there. But like I said, they're not really working right this minute. So I went to File Upload, and I just choose a file. It's going to take you to your desktop, and you choose whatever you want. Let's see if I can click successfully. Oh, there's an answer key. Let's put that in there. That'll be good. Okay, now you see that my file is right here next to where it says choose file. I can add another file if I want. So like when they had the 5 pictures, they could just keep adding until they took all 5, until they had all 5 pictures there. They can put a comment in here if they would like. Okay. And this, because I've already submitted once, I can click on here to see what I already submitted. So like if I missed a page, the teacher sent me back feedback that said I missed a page. I could click here and see which page I missed. And then I submit assignment. And I get confetti.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I submitted. I'm gonna leave student view, go back over to teacher view. Now if I go to speed grader, it's going to show up with a dot again, and now see I have the drop down menu because I've submitted more than once. Notice down here now it also says, do you want to use the same grade for the resubmission? So maybe it's all well and good that they corrected it, but I'm not changing their grade. Okay, and that depends on what the assignment is and what your parameters are and so forth. but you could click that and it will automatically retain the same grade, or you can go in the grade box and you can change it. And then that's their new grade. Okay, and notice here's that comment that I as the student submitted. Nope, that was the first one, right? And then here's the one, and a date and time stamps each one of them as well. Okay.
All right, so some questions that came up. All right, so that was going over, that was really good, thank you. Other questions that I think we can answer really quick about adding people. The only people who can add people to your group or to your Canvas course are you, because you have authorization, your admin, and your tech people. So when a student is added to your course, it will automatically, like with your Sean, what is your Sean called? Your
rosters. If they come in, so if somebody transfers into your class, within 24 hours, they should show up in here.
Right. Your parents sign up through themselves with their students. As far as other teachers or adults, you can add people to your center. Like if you want to add a resource teacher, you can add a resource teacher. If you want to add, your admin may ask to be added as an observer. However, they can go in, because they're super users, they can come in and look at you anyway, just like they could in EDSB. But also your Canvas champions are supposed to be able to go in and help you and edit by adding, deleting, and that sort of thing. But I don't think they've been given their rights, their permissions yet. Can you get another sandbox? No, we only get one. Believe me, we've asked. We've asked. Can you talk about how to email students through Canvas? Yep. Over on your far left-hand side, on your global navigation is an inbox. That's how you talk to them, and it works just like through EDSB.
Yep. And you can message parents and students here because they'll be linked just the same way you could in EDSB.
Yep. We talked about, can we go over creating student groups again? Lots of question about groups. Can you show how, so where did that one? Adding groups. So can we go over how we can add groups again?
We can. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do groups within the gradebook. You can also do groups in terms of the assignment. So if I were in this assignment and I were editing it, I could go in here. Now it's probably going to give me a warning somewhere because I've already got work that's submitted. So when I go to change this, you'll see it's going to stay right here. Students have already submitted homework on this assignment, so group settings cannot be changed at this time because they've already submitted work. But this would be another place where you could make it a group assignment, and then remember they would all send it in as one. So that's a group assignment. Let me get down here and cancel. When you're in the gradebook, which you can also navigate to by going to grades on the left-hand side. When you're in the gradebook, no, it's not in the gradebook. Where was it? Where was the groups button?
Under groups, under the assignment.
Right, but that's to make it a group assignment. But then there's the, yeah. You can also do it in people. That's the other place you can do it. So let's go one here that I haven't done yet. That's the page. That's not a, never mind. Back. No, I think has, let me do this one. And so this one hasn't been done yet, so I could edit this one. And then if I go down here, I can do it as a group assignment, but I can also assign it to, and I could go in here and I could click that I wanted to assign it to specifically just Christina. And all of your students would be listed there. I just only have Michelle and Christina in this course. I could do it to a section within my course. So it breaks it down by each individual piece. Okay, as to how you can do it. And then that would be assigned just to her. So that's a way to group it there. You can do it as a group assignment here. And then you can assign groups in people. Where'd my people go? People, where'd you go? They keep moving because they keep adding every day. So. But notice here, you can create a group. Right here in the upper right, you can create a group, and then you would see your different groups. I don't think I have anybody in this group. Yeah, they're not assigned. And so I created these groups through when I created the assignments in this particular case. Okay, and you can add a group, you can do the edit and so forth, just like you can on the other. Clone the group set. Okay?
All right.
Most of the time, you're probably going to be having them do individual work, I would suspect. So, you know, it would be more assigning to specific students on an assignment by assignment basis, because you're not always going to group. You know, even when you do ESC co-teaching, if you're doing best practices, you're not always separating your ESE kids or always separating, you know, whatever group of kids. You're separating them on a needs basis, assignment by assignment. So, you know, maybe they're an ESE kid, but they got this assignment, so then you don't need to pull them into that group or give them more support. All right, within the grade book. So get grade book real quick, and then we'll go see if we can do one that has a rubric. So in the grade book, there's lots and lots of really cool things you can do in the grade book. First, there's settings over here on the right-hand side. So that's going to set everything for your grade book. That is where you can set your late policy. So you can set it. So notice I already have things that are graded in my sandbox. So I have a big warning here that if I change it, it's going to change grades. Okay, I understand. I can have it where it automatically applies a late grade. Now, I'm probably not going to do this right now, and I didn't do it fourth quarter, but I'm at an IB school, and we have an automatic late grade deduction. So you could put that right in here, automatically apply deduction for late submissions, tell it how much, how frequently, and what is the lowest that you'll let it drop to, and it will do that for every single assignment. It will automatically take the deduction for you. So whatever grade, when you grade it, you just grade it like a regular assignment, it will automatically take that late penalty. Grade posting policy. I like to automatically post my grades. You can work it like you did in EDSB where you manually post them. So when you have the whole column ready, you release the whole column. You know, then I got to go back and I got to remember to share and all of that stuff, right? For me, and this is a personal choice. This is a purely personal choice. But for me, I like to just automatically post them. So as soon as I grade it and give them feedback, it pops up for that student. They get, however they have their notification set, whether it's daily or whether it's immediate, they will get a notification that that assignment has been graded. Okay. This would be at the end. This year, we are not doing final grades in Canvas. We are doing our final report card grades in EDSB because the software to create the report cards is not tied to Canvas yet. So we still have EDSB this year for that reason. But in the future, if you needed to override what the final grade was, you just click that box and that allows you to override that grade. Okay, so that's the settings. Next, we're just going to move from left to right, and then we're going to go to the actual, each actual assignment has choices too. So in the grade book, you can do mastery. Now, I'm not going to talk to you a lot about learning mastery. Learning mastery is where, and you have to create this within your modules, and you have to have your various different entry points set when you create the mastery set. So what this would be like if you were going to give students a test up front, and then if you score this, you go down this path, and if you score that, you go down that path, and they have different assignments based on their scores. That's what a learning mastery path is. And that is available in Canvas. That's probably not something that you're going to want to play with, at least not first quarter, because you're still learning Edgenuity and Canvas and trying to navigate when we're going to be open and closed and all the rest of it. So I would save that for down the road. I'm one of those teachers who has done that type of thing in my classroom already, and I'm not quite at a point where I'm ready to do that in Canvas just yet. Okay, because we have too much other stuff coming at us right now. The kids are learning this, the parents are learning this, we're learning this. You know, that's my feeling. If you want to investigate it, welcome to investigate it. Individual view. So let's say I'm having a conference with a parent, and I can look at individual various different things. So I can look at grades and notes, we said automatically, okay. So then I can look at all of my sections. I can look at it by assignment group. I can treat ungraded work as zeros. I can hide student names so that I could put it up and talk about grades. Okay, I could, you're not gonna need to do that. Show notes and student info, so you can add notes as well. And you can see those. Allow the final grade override we already talked about. Show the totals as points on their grade page. And then you can download all of these scores to a CSV, which is an Excel file. There is also a way in Edgenuity that you can export all of your grades. So if you wanted to batch import, you could save a column of grades in Edgenuity. They would have to be a perfect match. You could then upload those CSV grades here, and they would match up into your gradebook. Okay? View gradebook history. So you can see everything that's ever happened in this gradebook. Everything that I've done is in this gradebook. I can look at that in history. Okay? Go back. And then content sections. I don't have sections, but I could go through and look at a student at a time. So there's that student, and I can look at a specific assignment. She didn't do that assignment. I can look at the next assignment. So it's showing me down here what's going on for that student. There is also another place that's really, really great that has lots of information on your students, which I will show you quickly as we get to the end of tonight. You can excuse this assignment for this student. You can look at all of the submission details. Did they submit it multiple times? What were the grades on the different ones, etc. And you can see all of the information for that student here. Okay, so lots and lots of stuff you can do that. Let's go back to the gradebook.
Okay, quick question while you're doing that.
Yep.
I think if you could go over the gradebook again, because I think.
Yep, I'm only just beginning the gradebook.
I know. And then the other question that we can ask is about Zoom and Canvas. Was that they wanted to use the poll feature. I honestly, Zoom is going, like one day it worked, one day it didn't work.
Right.
So I don't know what we are going to have access to in Zoom.
So when they get everything loaded, so Zoom is working through an LTI, which means that it's a product that is not Canvas that's being integrated to be used through Canvas. Okay, that's what an LTI is. That's tech language for how they set it up. Because they're constantly working right now with establishing all of those LTIs and all of those communications, that's why things are working and not working and working and not working. And I know it's frustrating right now, but within the next couple of weeks, they should get all of that finalized, and then it should just work the way that they said it should work in the training, and you should be able to do that without a problem. In that case, you would be able to either create a poll right there on the spot, or if you had a poll pre-created, you could have uploaded it into your Zoom meeting. And if we have time, we can talk about that at the end, but I don't know if we're gonna have time or not, and that's kind of a whole nother topic. So we did one thing really so far with the grades. We went over to the settings, and we looked at those three choices: the late policies, the posting policies, and whether or not you wanna override the final grade. And then we went to gradebook and we said, we're probably not going to mess with learning mastery this year. If you want to investigate it, there's lots of great videos and tutorials out there on how to do it. But probably would, for me, for my students, I think it would be too much. I'm going to have 6th grade and, you know, they're moving to middle school. We're starting out online and most of my students are still going to be online. And then, you know, we've got Edgenuity and we've got this and we've got that and the other thing. So I'm not going to burden them with one more thing right now. Individual view is where I just was, where you look at all of those different options. You have lots of stuff that you can set there and you can look at individual students through the gradebook. And you can also do gradebook history straight from here. Gradebook history is also one of your choices under individual view. So that's on how you're looking at your gradebook. If I look at by view, I can arrange my assignments however I would like. I can arrange assignments by the assignment that starts with an A is first and the assignment that starts with a Z is last. First being closest to the left-hand side, last being furthest down the road. Or I could do it the reverse way. I personally like this one right here. It automatically does it. The first one that you do have a due date for is the first one on the left, then the next one, and so forth, just like it was in EDSB. And you'd have to scroll all the way across when you wanted to see something. For me, I want to arrange them newest to oldest. That means that the most recently due is going to be right there next to the student name. So when I hit the gradebook, my most recent stuff is right there and my oldest stuff is further down. Okay? And then you can do it from number of points. So I have a student that's at the end of the 9 weeks and they really need to get a passing grade. What can they do the most bang for their buck, right? So I can then arrange my amount from highest to lowest. This one's worth 100 points and then these are worth less as it goes down. And then I say, okay, you didn't do this first one right here. That's worth the most points. Go get this one done. Okay? And then I can also do it by module order. So the same order that I have my modules in my course, I can order my assignments within my gradebook. Okay? So arrange by is strictly the order in which you're going to see the assignments show up in your gradebook. And that's just for your convenience. EDSB, you didn't have any choices. They showed up in the order they were showing up, and that's the only choice you had. Filters. Remember, we could have made assignment groups, right? You can sort by assignment groups. You can sort by, remember, this is all view. It's how you're going to look at the gradebook. You could sort by your modules. So you could look at one module at a time. You can look at the statuses. Now you notice that some of my boxes were color-coded. It color codes late, light blue, missing, resubmit, dropped, etc. You can change these colors. If you go over here on the 3 dots, you can pick a different color. There aren't a whole lot of colors here. What they did is they picked very pale colors to which the words and the grades in the gradebook will show up well against that light background. But if you have another color that you like, you can just Google color wheel and they will come up. And each color, when you select a color, will have a code. And all you have to do is grab that code and stick it in this box and hit apply, and that's what color your button will be. So when I go back and look at my gradebook, if I scroll across to some of these that were done, which are now way out here because I reorganized. Okay, you'll notice here that I have some of these that are the different purples, and this one's blue. This one's blue because it's late. These are purple because they're missing. Okay, so that's a real nice, quick way to see in your gradebook to see what's going on. And then you can arrange your columns either by notes or by, so you can have your notes column here in the front and whether or not you see unpublished assignments. So if I don't want to see all these unpublished assignments, I can uncheck that box and they're going to go away from my gradebook. I'm not going to see them. So notice now I have very few assignments, right? Because I have a whole bunch of stuff that's not published in my sandbox. Okay, those are all ways to view your gradebook. Lots of options, way more than we had when we had EDSB. Okay, do we want to break for a second and do some questions?
Yes, one really good question that I actually don't even have the answer to is, can we print a class set or a class list spreadsheet like we can do out of EDSB and make a seating chart in gradebook? I don't think we can make a seating chart in
We
Canvas,
cannot make a
period.
seating chart in Canvas, and we cannot, straight from the gradebook like we could in EDSB, print a roster. However, I forget where it is, but there's a download feature. It's either in People. I think that's where it is in People, where you can download your roster as a CSV. It'll download as a spreadsheet, as an Excel spreadsheet. And then you use the boxes on the Excel spreadsheet the same way that you used your printed rosters.
Yeah.
Honestly, for this year, I think the EDSB ones are easier, and EDSB is still available, so I'm going to cheat and go print my rosters from there.
I already did that. Ditto.
Right?
So you know, I used to tell my kids, my students, that I double fisted coffee and Diet Coke. So now I'm double fisting EDSB and Canvas, because there's just right now, you got to do what you got to do, right? And
right?
we understand how EDSB does have some features that Canvas doesn't have currently, but I will tell you, like I said before, is I've been using Canvas, and like Laura, been using Canvas for almost 10 years now, and the way we started using Canvas to the way it is today, I'm telling you,
Totally
think you're
different.
confused what's available now. It's a difference between playing Oregon Trail and playing Animal Crossing. That's the difference. If you guys are geeky like me, you know that Oregon Trail was that very old, you know, very pixelated. That's how different this is. So every time I go to a Canvas training, I'm amazed by how much they've improved. They listen to you. They listen to us as the educators about how this would be easier, and they listen and they try to adapt. So remember that
rosters is on their list of things that have been asked for. And there are many things now that were not available last quarter in the pilot. Okay. So even just in a matter of a couple of months, they've added new things and made it better. They're always making it better. Microsoft is another company that's like that. So as you use Office 365, it's the same thing. The whole reason they came out with Class Notebook is because people said they liked using OneNote and they wanted to share it with their kids, but then the students could change their content. And so then they created a whole new OneNote that's Class Notebook that's specifically made for teachers to share with students where they can't mess with the content. So these companies that really work with education really do listen to our needs, and they are constantly adapting their product to meet our needs. Because if they stop meeting our needs and somebody else does, we're going to buy it, right, from somebody else versus from them.
Okay, so I want to address some questions that I'm seeing here a lot about why are we using Canvas? Why aren't we doing this? This is the way we're going. Whether this is the way we're going. Elementary, middle school, high school, we are moving to Canvas. EDSB is only going to be here for one more year, and it's going bye-bye. For those who are saying, why do I have to use Canvas? The reason why we're teaching these classes is there is probably a 90% chance that at some point in the next month or so, you or the entire district could be going to e-learning 100%. And you need to know how to use this, because this is how your students are going to be getting their information. That's why.
It's what most of the colleges and universities in this country and worldwide use. It's really a good learning management system. It has 1,000 more features and tools than EDSB ever had. It's a really great tool. And, like Christina said, if we have to go to e-learning, that's where it's going to be. And the other piece of it is that eventually Clever is going to go away. Everything's going to be in Canvas. you know, everything, the only things eventually, all that we're going to have is we're going to have Schoology running in the background that's going to interface our student information system, that's the SIS, with Canvas. So those interface pieces are going to be there, but teachers you don't see those interface pieces now, and you won't in the future. Okay, that'll be running in the background. And even mainframe is going to get replaced in the next few years. Our Ideas is going to go away. Clever is going to go away. Printing IPT is going to go away. Everything is going to be housed through Canvas.
Right.
So everything that a teacher or a student or a parent would use will be housed in Canvas.
So hopefully, over the past 3 sessions that we have been holding with you guys, we've tried to give you a more in-depth training than what you may have gotten the first, if you're one of the first people like we were, who got the trainings at the very beginning of this, of our trainings, or of pre-planning. We really have tried to give it as much detail as possible, but we're only scratching the surface.
Yes.
We could do trainings upon trainings, which is why Canvas has videos for you. If you go to the help area on your Canvas course and scroll down, there are there's a Hillsborough version, but then there's the training service modules that have all these videos that go in depth of everything that we are still learning about, because Canvas keeps on coming up with new things that are in there. And that's where you really can learn more about it. I also will say to you again and again, YouTube. I can't tell you how many times, I mean, you guys are asking, how did you do this with Bitmoji? I went to YouTube. I didn't know how to do, at our school, we did a virtual classroom open house using a combination of Bitmoji Google Slides and PowerPoint. And we learned how to do it through YouTube. So I can't express that enough.
YouTube and Google. That's what I keep telling people. If you have a question about Canvas, open a tab in Google, type in what you're trying to do with the word Canvas somewhere in there, and about the first 3 or 4 things that are going to come up is called the Canvas community. And you're either going to have something from the Canvas community, which Canvas employees make sure have correct answers all the time. And then the other thing is that, like, universities that do training modules for their teachers, for their professors, I found a number of those are the links too. And they'll have a whole little module there for you with videos of how you do it. And the answers are all there. 90+% of what I know about Canvas, I learned on my own.
And I'm still seeing you guys populating here about pushback on Canvas. You know what? We're just training it.
Yeah.
We're just training. If it's something that you, I don't know, I don't know how it works in elementary school because I haven't been there in a couple of years, but talk to your administration. You also have a Canvas champion on your site. We asked for the list, but they weren't ready to publish it. But every school has at least 1, maybe 2 Canvas champions that are there to help you. That's really it. I really can't tell you enough. Canvas is, there, once you get the hang of it, just like when probably you first got EDSB. I'll just be honest, I've only been in Hillsborough for 2 years, and EDSB was completely foreign to me. It took a lot of, on my own, going through it, reading the help, everything, and just basically trial and error. You can't screw up Canvas. You can't.
There are very few things that you can do that, I mean, your worst case is you delete something and you have to recreate it.
And then you learn how to do it again.
That's about it. That's about the worst you can do.
There were questions about, are there's going to be more trainings? I would expect we are going to have more trainings as we go along, but I don't know when they're going to be. Yeah, and that's pretty much, again, it's, and then the other question,
if you go to the 3 trainings that we will have done navigation, which is all of your global navigation, and then within your course, how you do your course settings. Then we did, in the modules, we did the pages and assignments, because that's really the bulk of your course that you're going to produce. Tonight, we're doing the home pages so that you can link the stuff. And we're doing grading and grade books. So you should have a pretty good, between the three of those, you should have a pretty good surface level user being able to do understanding of some of the things that Canvas does. Is it all the things that Canvas does? No, because Canvas is so powerful and does so many things, okay? And so I realized that some people are a little overwhelmed because there are so many things that it does. Just take the first layer and digest that, then come back for a second layer, okay? All right, we ready to?
Can I interject one quick second? If you guys that are taking this course now have some areas that you would like some further training on, like if you'd like some specific to high school or something specific to elementary, if you will email me and let me know, then perhaps we can figure out.
Quizzes and discussions, we didn't cover those, right?
Right. So anything that you still have questions about or a module you'd like to know, email me. It's paula.haggerty@floridaea.org, and we will try and get some more training set up.
All right, so let's look a little bit more at the gradebook. Actions. And if you forget, it's okay. These are all drop downs, right? Here's your import and here's your export. And I believe it's this export that you can use to basically do the spreadsheet to get your rosters. If you have grades in there already, like I have grades and I have assignments already, it's going to populate that spreadsheet with that information already. It's going to export everything in your gradebook. All right, now.
One more question you want make sure we go over is weighting.
Yes. So we did weighting when we did the back in the actual, we'll go back and we'll catch that in just a minute. Okay. On an individual assignment, notice when I come up here, it lights up, it's hyperlinked. If I click on it, it takes me into the assignment. If I click on the three dots, I get some choices. So within this column, within this assignment, I can sort lowest to highest, highest to lowest, missing, late. So I want to know who didn't turn it in. I can sort it. In this case, I can't really sort it by missing because they're all missing. But I could sort it by any of these choices. Speed grader takes me right back over into my grading system. I love this next one. Message students who. Depending on what students have done in that column will depend on the choices that you get. So I only have 4 choices. Again, as you have more students that have done more things, you'll have more options. I can message everybody who hasn't submitted it yet, and it automatically puts on here, no submission for items, and I can type them a little message that says, please submit your assignment. Okay? Now, when I hit send message, Christina and Michelle are both going to get a message in their inbox from me that says, you didn't do your assignment. Get your assignment done. Well, let's say that I talked to Michelle's mom, and Michelle's been really, really sick, and so I know why she hasn't submitted it. I don't need to send her a message. I've already talked to her. I can just take her off, and then the message won't go to her. Let's say I want to reward all the students that had the highest grades, right? Scored more than, and I can put in what the score was right here, scored more than whatever I choose. Congratulations, you did such a wonderful job. This is grayed out because nobody submitted this assignment. But I love it because you can message, oops, too far over on my mouse. You can message for a whole bunch of different reasons. I really like that. Also on these 3 dots, you can curve grades. Now, you cannot uncurve them once you have curved them. So choose wisely. But let's say I have an assignment and I really, really believe that the class average should be a 75 and the class average is a 72. I can go into curve grades and I can set that curve grades. I can't do it on this one because nobody submitted. But if I had stuff in there, I could go into curve grades and it would show me what the averages were, and I could decide to make it 72. And then it would adjust everyone's grade. So there's no graph here because nobody submitted. Notice the big red box. Curving grades cannot be undone. Pre-curved grade histories will be available, but the curving action is irreversible, which means that you would have to go, if you really had to undo this, you would have to take this, make this not count for a grade, and or delete it. You would have to create a new assignment. You would have to do this before you delete it. You would have to make the new assignment. You would have to go into the history and you would have to find the original grades and manually enter all the original grades for the assignments. And then I would say don't have this one count, because then you'd at least still have all your submissions. If you deleted, everything's gone. But you can set in, so it says the average was 3.6 out of 6. I could say, okay, I want the average score to be 4. And then I hit curve grades. I can choose whether or not I want zeros for unsubmitted students. And then it will adjust every student's grade based on that now being the average. Which is really pretty cool. Just use it cautiously. I can set a default grade. So let's say I want all students to get a 6 out of 6. This was simply I'm gonna just collect it for participation. Everybody participate. I want everybody to get a 6. If there was already a grade in there that was a 3, I could overwrite it. Set the default grade. Okay. 3 student scores will be updated. Okay. Everybody now has a 6. Now notice it's still pink because they still didn't submit anything. They just got a 6 out of 6. Okay. You can hide the grades. When you hide grades, students don't see them. So when you click on that, it's going to pull out a menu. It's going to tell you about what happens when you hide the grades. You can enter a grade as either points or percentages. So you set this originally when you set the assignment, but you can change it here. Same thing, grade posting, remember, was on the wheel, the gear, the settings. It's also right here at the bottom of it, the assignment, that you can post it automatically or manually. There's a lot that the gradebook does, but don't be overwhelmed by it. Just come, click on what it is, and look and see what pops up, right? You can always change it back. And if it's going to be something that's going to get you in trouble, like curving grades, it's going to pop you up a little red box that's going to say something about, are you sure you want to do this? You can't undo it. All right, do we have questions on that?
No, there haven't been any questions about that.
All right. Then we're going to go over to assignments. And we're going to, I believe it's on the 3 dots here, assign group weights. So if I have different assignment groups and I click assign group weights, I apparently don't have any different ones in here. Weight the final grade based on assignment groups. I should have another one that's going to let me change it. Assignment dates. This is where it would be. So you would go into assignments where it's showing all of your assignments, and next to where it says add assignment, there's 3 dots, and you should have a weighting there. I may not have created any groups other than just assignment. But we can fix that, right? I can go in and I can alter one of these. And let's edit. Obviously, I've been playing around doing a lot of things in here. So this one is classwork homework. So why is it not coming up as different things? Okay. This might be one of those things. Oh, and it's not published. So maybe that's it. This may be one of those things that, you know, is temporarily a little glitchy because they're making so many changes. I can add the groups here, right? So I can add my different assignment groups. And then when I go over here, an assignment group waiting, see, it's still not giving me the option.
A good question right here. When you hide the grades, does it hide it from you or from the kids and the parents?
So, and one of the things I love about Canvas is my little friend over here that pops out, right? So if I go here and I go down to, I don't have a choice of hiding grades on that one because there is no grades. So if I scroll over to one that has some grades, I believe it just hides it from the kids and the parents. I do not believe it hides it from you. But if you go over here, it's going to tell you, while grades for this assignment are hidden, students will not receive new notifications about or be able to see them. Their grade for the assignment, if there's a grade change, if there's submission, the curving, all of these things, they won't be able to see anything. And then you can come back and you can flip it the other way. Okay, so you can turn it on and off. Hide and unhide. So you're just hiding it from parents and students. I will show you another thing that I personally is one of my little things because I'm at an IB school and I have those parents and students, is if I go into my course settings. So I went back over into my course navigation. I went all the way to the bottom to settings and I'm looking at my course details. If I go down, there is one on here that says, and I would have to find it, that says, so normally what Canvas does, and I think it's in more, high grade distribution graphs from students. So if you don't check this box, when the student sees their grade in Canvas, they will be able to see what the median was, and they will be able, they basically get a box and whiskers graph of the class distribution of grades. So then all of a sudden they're going to come to you and start saying things like, well, but they scored over here and, you know, the median was there and how come they have a B and, right, all of that jazz. I don't want to deal with that. So I just don't let them see that graph. They don't really need to know what everybody else scored, right? So, but that's in your course settings and that you would set in each individual course. And it's under, after you go to general, your course details, go to the bottom, you have to click that more button and then it's down here almost to the very bottom of that. All right, were there other questions that we didn't get back to?
Just going, I think you went over how you're setting manual grades and the grade posted policy. How is setting manual grades in the grade posting policy different than selecting high grades in the actual grade book?
I'm not quite sure what they're asking.
Not sure either. And then if you're a brick and mortar, is there any way to hide all the grades from the parents? So I think as in the elementary world, parents don't, I don't think they get a grade book like we get middle school, high school. They just get a final grade.
Right. So it's on an assignment by assignment basis. So as you did each assignment, you would have to hide it.
Or you could be innovative and let the parents see what they're getting, because how many times do we have this thing called the black hole book bag?
Right.
And we wouldn't have to worry about the parents bringing home the work to see what their students are getting. They can see it. You just have the whole, you know, if your grade is not average, then you're just giving them the actual test grade. It's no different than when they come home and they see what they got on a test. You're now just making it available to them in Canvas. So they can still see the grade, which is no different than if they sent home the paper that said they got an A, a B, or a C on it. And you can make it a letter grade instead of a number grade.
Correct. And you could also go here to your grade posting. Remember that was on the gear over here on the side for settings. You can go there and manually post the grades. If you click that, the grades are hidden until you go into each assignment and release them. So this isn't all hidden until you release. This isn't all released unless you hide. And notice that it says here that the grades are hidden by default. Any grades that have already been posted will remain visible.
Okay. In elementary, we don't necessarily grade. Yeah, so Ms. Hall, just what she said there is you can just average, just blank them out completely. You can change the grading scale to be A, B, C, D. You can change your grading scale to be anything 1, 2, 3, 4 if you're standard-based grading. You can change that grade in Canvas to be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be A, 90 through 100 is an A. You can change that however you want.
Right. So if I go back over here and I go into one of my assignments, right? And let's just pick one to edit. I got these all over the place now.
I like the blah, blah, blah one.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in there. Oh, I was teaching them how to embed videos. Okay. So if we go in and edit, and we go down here, right, we can display grades as percentage, complete, incomplete, points, letter grades, GPAs are not graded. So you have those choices in each assignment.
So hopefully that helps our elementary friends give it a little bit of idea of how they can do that. So I think we're up to date. I'm sorry if I'm missing you. I'm trying to stay on top of it. I think that was the last question.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing for just a minute and try and help you out with the questions a little bit.
Yep. So the last one I think that's on here says the grade scale needs to be correct. You can fix that in your navigations. There's a grading scale in there and you can check it. It's automatically, it goes one way. You can click on it. There's a Hillsborough version. There is a standard-based grading version in there. You can check, you can address it to go with what you want.
Yep. Which is actually not a choice. You did not have that choice in EDSB, which is why elementary teachers weren't putting grades directly in EDSB. Because you did not have that choice.
Well, you can actually use the E, U, and S if that's still used, or when I was in it, we used 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. Yep, somebody put in here S, N, and U. So yes, you can set that. Okay. So if a couple people want to just type in real quickly, do we want to spend a couple minutes and let you play with the grade book? Or is there another topic that you want us to dive into? Because I know there's still a few loose ends on some things. So if you type in the questions real quick, kind of which direction you'd like us to go at this point.
We're actually reading the questions right now.
Huh?
I said, we're actually reading all the questions right now. I got
right? Yep.
Okay, will the county be setting a grade scale for us? Are we allowed to change it? The county grade scale for grades is is a 10 scale model. A, B, C, D, E, F. We don't do minuses or pluses. But when we're talking about grading scale, we're talking about if you are, perhaps you are a teacher that does standard-based grading. You can set up in Canvas, your grading to be as you have been teaching your students 1, 2, 3, 4, or however you have done your standard-based grading. For our elementary students, this allows you to go SNU or SNUE or whatever letters you use. And then it also allows for the middle school and high school to go with their 10 base grading.
That's in the course navigation, right?
Yes, I'm 99% sure.
Okay. We're going to find out. Was it on details page?
I'm thinking it was because I was just there earlier today playing with it. See, this is how it is. We know where it is, but then
Enable course grading scheme,
and then
set
go
a grading scheme.
ta-da!
Okay, so this is the one that's there by default. You want to do another one, select another one. You can edit it. You can manage the different ones that there are there. I'm not changing it because I'm middle school, but that's where it is. And then done, and it will update. So right there, just a short ways down, you go to your second set of navigation bars. So you're in course navigation, go all the way down to settings. Settings is always at the bottom no matter what, and home is always at the top no matter what. Everything in between moves. And then you go on the first tab, course details, and you go down just a little ways, and you're gonna have one that says grading scheme, and you just click enable grading scheme. And you have to update course details. You always have to save or update. Otherwise, it's not going to keep it.
Right.
Okay?
So that's that one. The next one it was, there's another one here that says, we do not have all our courses yet. Yep, we know. No
Yep.
students are assigned to courses yet. Yep. How could I see what students will see and support parents in learning how to access Canvas? There is this beautiful thing called Student View.
Yep.
That shows you what a student. So in EDSB, you had no idea what the kids saw. At least I never did. I never figured that one out. But in Canvas, you always have the button on the far right-hand side that says Student View.
If you're on home or if you're on settings. If you're in modules or you're in any of your other things, that button is not there. So you have to be home or settings. So the top or the bottom. And then you have the little glasses and you have student view. Now I want you to notice something. My geometry unit is published. My test unit is not. Okay? When I go over to student view, I see my geometry unit. I do not see my test unit because it is not published, so my students do not see it. This is what students would see in my course. I have not hidden any of this stuff on the side. If I went into my settings and hid it, they would not see these. So be careful if you're using Edgenuity or Achieve 3000. If you hide those buttons, students can't see them, they can't access them. Notice I get my little to-do list over here. Okay, I can go into my grades. I want to do that because I submitted some work and had it graded, right? Ooh, here's my grades. Here's all my grades. Blue dots, that means there's new information there. I made comment, here's a teacher comment on that one and on that one. So I could click on that one and I could see what that teacher comment is. It shows me what the student's comment was, right? Here's the comment. It was submitted by test student on this date and time. Here was the teacher's comment. I know that because there's the teacher's name and there's the date and time they did it. If I had it turned on for them to see the graph would show up right here next to this, would show up their graph so that they could see how the whole class did.
Okay, next question we had was, how do you put a picture, which is a good one, we never went over it, I don't think. How do you put a picture on the card? So currently—
Actually, we did that in the first week, but we can do that again real quick.
Yes, please.
You're in course navigation. So global navigation is your far left. That stays there regardless of what course you're in. Course navigation changes for each course. You go down to settings. Right here, it says image. You have 3 dots. Choose an image. You can remove the image. You can choose an image. And then you can pick an image from your computer, or you can do Unsplash, which is where I got mine from. So I'll put crayons just so you can see that is in fact where I got mine from, right there. And these all are copyright free. There's a whole bunch of pages of them, page after page after page after page of them. You pick one you like, And then once you pick one, so I'm going to go back and pick the same one that I have, because otherwise I'll be looking for my sandbox and I'll never find it because it'll be a different card. Okay, and as soon as you click on it, it automatically puts that picture there.
All right, that should enter that one. So that takes care of that one. If I hit a button, how do I get it back? If you're talking about the navigation buttons.
Yep. So you're in course settings. You go to navigation. And the ones below, the drag items here to hide from students, if it's below here, like this is my textbook for Pearson. I don't want that hidden. I want that to be above. And I can put it wherever I want it. So I want it to be like right below their grades. Boom. It will now show up after I save. I always have to save. When I go back over, well, let's go home. Sorry. And let's, first off, when I look here, notice that it no longer, all these ones with the eye through it, with the line through the eye, students aren't seeing. So when I go to student view, they don't see them. When I go back over here, Pearson Realize is right where I put it underneath the grades. When I go over to student view,
Thank you.
it will be right there underneath grades.
All right, next question. Is there a way to organize the pages? So Jennifer has like 395 pages in her sandbox. She would like to organize them by subject. Yes, so when you organize, your subject would become your module.
Yep. And then so that you don't have that long stream, you can close each module, right? So you only see the title bar. Now, even if you have this closed on your side, you will notice that when I went into the student side, it was open. But that's part of the reason that you do a home page. So students don't see all this busyness.
And students can also collapse their modules when they're in it. It's great. It's open when they first, for students, the modules will be open. Like when they go to their module page, it will be open. But then they have they can do it themselves where they can close it if they're like, they know they're going to unit 15 and it opens up to unit 10, they can collapse it and move it down. So,
okay, so I'm in student view right now. And that's the great thing about student view. You see exactly what they see. And that test student is really nice because let's say I want to see what an assignment looks like and what it is when I submit it, right? So I can come over here to student view. I can actually go into the assignment. I can do the assignment. That's, by the way, how I got it in the gradebook, right? If I've already submitted it, all of my information is already here. And again, I could do resubmit because I allowed resubmissions on this assignment. If I hadn't, it would show it as locked. So if I go back, I don't think I have one in here where I set dates on a quiz. But you would get a symbol that would say it's not available. So let's go real quick to one that has, I think this one has a test in it. This one has a quiz in it. If I go here to this quiz and I edit, and I were to set the date and time that it's available from. So if I now say it was only available until yesterday, and I save this, when I go over to the student side, let me make sure this is published. Let me make sure the module is published because I don't think the module is. Test the module is not published. Okay, continue. Okay, now if I go over to student view, and I click on this quiz, it comes up and it says this quiz was locked August 19th at 11:59 p.m. So they don't see the quiz, they can't access it anymore, they can't do it anymore because I locked it.
All right, another question said, and I don't know, can you see what their dashboard looks like? If you're talking about the student, no, because each student can have a different dashboard because it can be based off of what their teachers have populated or published for them. Let's see here. In the to-do list for students, do they see assignments for the week at a time, or do they see all assignments that have a due date and are published? Good question, Maria.
I think it's all. But it kind of separates them out so it's not so busy. It has like a part at the top, and I think it's within a day or 2 days, I forget what the spec is, where it's coming up. Actually, this one says next week. And then things that are due beyond that will be down under a separate column, so that it's not too much all at once.
I can tell you that on my Canvas course, because I'm a student of Laura's and a student of somebody else, and I'm a student of something else, I have assignments overdue everywhere. So they come up as like I have a science assignment that's overdue. I don't know why I thought I published it. I thought I turned it in. So I have to
I'm
go
in
back.
a few classes too, so.
You know,
So here's similar to what they would see. Here's my to-dos. Here's my coming up next week. Here's the recent feedback that I've received. And here's I can click to view my grades because I have new grades.
see that you didn't do your scavenger hunt either. All right. So
well, I just imported that course today, so you know, it was already past due.
Right. All right. So if you deleted the page from page tabs, will it be deleted from the module you linked it in?
If you delete the page is gone.
Yes, it's bye-bye. It's gone to the abyss, the Canvas abyss. After publishing a module in a course, what would you do with it when they complete it? Just unpublish so they don't see it again anymore?
Well, so that's what I did at the end of last year, because I didn't have a home page, because we didn't set up home pages in the pilot. So they just saw the module stream. So I did that. I unpublished them so that it wasn't too busy for them. But you don't have to if you're using the home page. They're just not going to click on that link, right?
Right.
And if you have your modules, if you have your link going to your modules, you can update that link at any time to go to a more future module. And then once they're in a module, they're going to always get, when they're on that page, they're going to get a previous and they're going to get a next. If you have modules visible to them, they can navigate forward to or back to whatever module they want to. Now remember, you can lock those modules where they have to do them in a certain order, or they have to complete one thing before they can do another.
So let's see, how do you add a test student? You don't, that is already there.
Yep, automatically in every one of your classes.
If all of the lessons are in a module under a course, do you unpublish and publish as you go along so students see? That's up to you. We just talked about it. We were pilots, so we got a lot of different ideas that were thrown at us to do it. It depends on how many lessons you have. If you're in elementary school, personally, I think it would be easier on the kiddos and the parents if you unpublished after the week was over. And then if they needed to go back to something, you could always unpublish that page in that module so that they can go back. But that's really a to you question, if it's what works for you and your kiddos. And that's also grade level. I think high school kids should have everything open, because just like middle school, we are open for the entire semester. So they need to be able to go back and review things just like you would if you were in a classroom.
Right. And
go ahead.
So I want to show you new analytics as well. Through new analytics or through people. See, and I love these little things. They pop out and they give you information about it to help you. You can dismiss them and then they don't ever come back again. But I would rather I don't need you right this minute, but I might want you later. Okay, and that's why you have these little buttons up there. I always like my help to be there because, I'm getting a little older and who knows when I'll forget something, right?
Little paper clip we used to have in the office.
Right? Yep.
Okay, I'm showing my age.
Right, me too. The little paperclip guy, when you were doing something, he would pop up and say, "It looks like you're trying to," right?
Yes. Yeah. So, all right. So, see, we've been doing this for a long time, maybe.
Way too long, maybe.
So somebody wanted to know, setting up home pages with buttons or tiles. The tiles were just a table.
Yep.
You just went into a page, inserted a tile, and the buttons again were just screenshotted pictures that you made either in Canva, in the buttons, or you screenshotted from something that you saw someone else use, or you just use pictures. That's all buttons are.
Or you could, even if you didn't even want to upload a picture, you could just put text in that box, and then you could do fill, where you put a color as the background, and then you could hide the grid, and then it would look like you had different color buttons.
And these are all things that you can do in Word, Google Slides, Google, I mean, all of these things you can do right there. And I mean, so it's not,
Right.
you don't need to know coding to do that.
Right.
Don't listen to that part of don't listen to that part of the YouTube videos that you hear.
Right. All right. New analytics. And they are updating this all the time. That's why it's called new. But this is where you can really see stuff that the kids have done. So overall, this is just looking at a course grade. You're looking at all sections. You can message students who have certain grades in the course. You can download again. You can go and you can look at data, or you can look at display shapes. I like the data table. Actually, I like the shapes. Sorry.
Sorry, the puppy has a toy.
Actually, I do like the table better, but okay. So take that off, then you just see the chart. Okay, everything's a 0 because nobody submitted anything in my class. What a bunch of slackers, right?
What can I say? We learned real quick that our teacher doesn't grade things on time.
Right? That too, right? And when you have students that have submitted work over on that side to do for you, it will come up how many things need to be graded. It will list each individual item, and then there'll be a little circle with a number in it telling you how many of them. So like if I've only got 2, I might wait until I have 10, right? These you can look at. So this is for all sections. You can look at each individual. No grades have been posted because I'm looking at course grade, right? I can also go and look at activity. And I can look and see how many pages were viewed. I can see it for different weeks, what pages were viewed. And it should come out and tell me who viewed what pages. Now, it doesn't give me the date and time, but that is something that I've suggested that they do. It gives you a weekly overview. And then you can also look at individual, so you can look at the individual page. And you can also look at individual students, which I really like. If I go back up here to students. So here, I can click on an individual student. So remember when we were over in Gradebook, I could pull up individual view and I could get a bunch of stuff. But to me, this is a little bit easier way to look at it. And then I can click into, well, if they were graded, I could click into each assignment and it would pop up with their actual assignment. Okay, and then I also have the 3 dots here. Again, I can do a table and a chart. But I like that because it just, you know, and there's a lot of assignments in here in my sandbox, most of which have no due date and are not published. But anyway, so you can scroll through all the stuff there. So I like that. And when you actually do have students in there, it does give you a lot of data. If you go over to people, actually, it's in quizzes. Like if you do quizzes, and I know we didn't do quizzes. If you create a quiz, you want to create it from this left-hand button. I know when we taught you creating pages and assignments, we did them in the module. Creating a quiz in a module is a possibility. Here's the problem. If I go here to add, okay, it jumped on me. If I go here to add and I choose quiz, this is the old version of quizzes, which will no longer be supported as of December 31st of this year. So you don't want to create and do a whole bunch of work of creating quizzes, because once you create these quizzes, you can use them over and over. You don't want to be creating this and then it's going to be gone and not supported after December. Okay? So you want to go to what's called new quizzes. And after they make the transition, the quiz button and modules will be new quizzes, but right now it's not. So you want to go over here to quizzes, which is new quizzes. And you would add a quiz. You can choose classic quizzes. I would not. They're going away. I would choose new quizzes. And then you'll have all your choices of how you submit, of how you create it. You can do a question bank and everything else. You can also go in here on a specific quiz and you can give students, so this one's not done yet. I can go over and I can moderate. And so let's say Christina had taken the quiz and she didn't do very well. I need to be able to adjust her time. She needs more time. I can give her additional time. I can remove all time limits. I can give her, so like once they get into high school, it's 1.5 times the normal time. So that's your time multiplier. I can go over here to moderate and I can give her additional attempts. And so that's really nice because you can adjust that on a student by student basis. And quizzes, we have about a half an hour left. Quizzes is kind of, when you build it, you have lots and lots and lots. You can create questions and put them in the item bank and then draw from the item bank. You can add quizzes and you have all of these different categories to add from. So they can do multiple select, you can hotspot something where it's basically they have to label on a picture. You can give them a prompt. That's basically an open text box. So there's lots and lots and lots and lots that you can do in quizzes. And then once you save the quiz and if you put the things in the item bank, then you can use them again at another time. And I believe you can share them to the Commons as well. Not from this tab. And then you also have, you can shuffle questions, shuffle the answers, and it knows if you have a all of the above or none of the above, it keeps that one last if you shuffle. So there's lots of settings here that you can set, and then you can get reports on each quiz, and you can do item analysis and all kinds of other things. But again, it would take way more than a half an hour to go through each of those settings. But you can go in and play with it because you can't hurt it. Do it in your sandbox, right? You can't hurt it.
So that looks like we are up to date on our, oh, sorry, I want to read this real quick. If you have not cross-listed your course yet because you can, all right, so that seems to be all of our questions. Some of the ones that we have here are from the beginning. How do we create a new homepage? You do, if you already have one in your sandbox, you import it into your courses, or
Right.
you just create a new one. That's pretty much how you would do it. How do you import? You go to the course that you want to have it imported in, and on the far right hand side it says import from existing courses. You pick the core, you pick your sandbox, and then you pick what parts of it. You don't put the whole thing, you put selection parts of it, and you pick on that. It is, and you just go over it and do, and that's how you do it to get in from your sandbox to the courses that you have.
Okay, and remember now, when they populate your stuff, all of your other stuff's going to disappear. Don't freak out right away because your sandbox is going to be gone. Your professional study day and your annual requirements that you have there that you're not done with are going to be gone. Don't get upset about it. Go over here to courses, all courses, and there they are. If it doesn't have a star, so before what happened is nothing was starred, so everything showed up. Now, because I have something starred, only the things with the stars are going to show up. So because look, if I had everything on my dashboard, it would be a little bit overwhelming if I had all of those cards. And then you can see when whether you're enrolled as a student, a teacher, and whether or not the course is published. And then these were my past enrollments. These are the courses that I did last semester.
And once you have a course, you always have the course unless your DP totally deletes it, which
Correct.
means that if they collapse a course and they say, oh, like we just are experiencing now, you may have had 5 classes or 5 sections, and all of a sudden now, if you're Laura or Tina, you have 18 sections.
Yeah, right.
So the 5 sections that we start off with have disappeared completely, and we've been replaced, and they are gone. They are in the Canvas abyss. They will tell you till they're blue in the face they cannot retrieve it. However, there is ways, but they will not take the time to retrieve it unless it was deleted on their part by accident. So just know that that's why at the last course we were saying don't put anything in your courses until they tell you everything is final.
Right.
So if you're middle school or high school, don't put anything in those courses yet.
Yep. And if you did populate your courses, go as soon as we're done here, share it to the Commons, share it only to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it disappears, you can go pull it out of the Commons.
Good answer. So I think going through everything, just one more from it says, when we first imported a course from Commons, it included modules for 8th grade as well as 9th. I don't see 8th on the modules, but it still shows up in the pages, even though I deleted them. I am concerned about importing my grade 9 information that 8 will show up. You may see the pages, like when I went to create a page, it showed the title, but the page wasn't there anymore. The title, it just remembers what you typed for titles. It doesn't, once you delete it, they're gone. So if you imported it and you deleted all your 8th grade stuff from it, that's it, it's gone. You're not gonna see it again unless you re-import it in. Hopefully that answers your question.
And the other thing, remember, if you've imported from the Commons and you've made changes to it, and then you go to the Commons again and you get that little notification that there have been updates, because they're constantly updating these modules. If you select yes, you want the updates, what it essentially does is, think about a Word document. If I had a Word document and I made changes to it, and then it came in and it said, there's a new version. If I import that update, it's basically a file with the same name. So it's going to replace what I have, including all your changes, with what is now in the Commons. So one of the suggestions is that if you have something that you're changing, duplicate it. Maybe give it a slightly different name, or put a 1 or a period or a space or something extra in the title. And then that way, when you import, it's not going to replace that, because that's not part of what's being overwritten.
You'll just have to go back and delete all the stuff that was doubled.
Right.
Hopefully, and that seems that, well, I take that back. May have missed it, but would you show how to, the home page is you just downloading it from Commons. You make it your front page, and then you make it your home page.
Right, but I think the question here is, it's that nice pretty page with the buttons, but I want to change the words on the buttons. You can't, they're an image.
Yeah.
They're an image. So you would have to replace that image with a new image, which is why you had all those instructions from the district about go to Canva and use this specification and this particular size and this font and whatever. And then when you export that, you're exporting it as an image, and then you would take it into PowerPoint, bevel it, and then take it as an image out of PowerPoint and upload into Canvas. But what you have in Canvas is just an image that you are linking.
It's kind of like a template to see this is what you could do.
Right, exactly.
And how do we upload it to Commons? So I'm assuming that is, how do you upload what you have in your sandbox or anything to Canva, to Commons?
Yep. So if I go into my course and I go to my home page, right? If I go to my settings, I think I can do it right from here. I did it from settings, but import to Commons. So you can do this on each individual page, each individual modules, and for an entire course. If I'm here on home or if I'm in settings and I import to Commons, where did that go? Should be one that says share to Commons. That's import from. So I'm going to go down to settings because I know it's down there. My details page. Okay, so I'm on my course where, as long as I'm in my settings, notice up here it says share to Commons. If I click on share to Commons, one of my choices right here is only me. So if I share it to only me, it's in the Commons, but nobody can see it but me.
And up at the very top, it says, is this an updated to a previous shared resource? So if it was, you originally had it up there and now you've updated and you want to save it, you can click that button as well.
So this is what they're doing at the district level, right? They're creating in a course. They have a specific course that they're creating that they're sharing, or specific module. And then what they're doing is, yes, it's an update. So when if you've imported it from the Commons, it tells you there's an update.
Okay, so while you're in navigation, one of the questions is how do I change the settings to show quiz pages that currently have an I with a slash over it? So the I with the slash over it in your navigation means that you've hidden it from your students. So when you're in the course, all you have to do is go down to the bottom to settings.
Getting there.
And go to navigation and scroll down to the one that you want your students to see, and you just drag and pull it up to above the, that drags, it says drag below here, and then save it and the kids will see it.
Yep, and it's gonna appear in the order in which you put it up here. Now, this is something that has happened to a few people in some of the trainings that I've been in. They're like, well, I don't have the Zoom, because you're in the Zoom training, go over and click on the Zoom link or click on the Edgenuity link. Well, I don't have it. What's happening is, as they're getting some of these things imported into Canvas, they're defaulting to going down here. And so it's not showing up over here for you. And then you also have to make sure that it's enabled. So you just drag it up to the top, make sure it's enabled, and then you have to make sure that you save. And then sometimes you have to go back to your dashboard and then back into your course to make it basically that's a refresh page, and then it's there. Sometimes it does it straight up, but if it doesn't, just go to your dashboard and then come back in and it should be there.
And that, I think, I'm going down to the bottom. I was all of a sudden. Yeah, I think we've covered everything plus.
So yes, when you do share to Commons through the settings for the course, you are doing the entire course. When you're on an individual page or an individual module, you will also have the option of sharing to the Commons. So if I go here to my module, this is my whole geometry module. One of my choices is share to the Commons. If I go to a specific page, I also on my 3 dots have a choice that says share to the Commons. So if I share from this, I'm only sharing this page. If I share from the module, I'm sharing the module. If I share from the course settings page, I'm sharing the whole course. So that's nice because you can share just the pieces that you want to share.
Laura, do you speak Spanish?
I do not.
She does not. That was a question in the text.
Was it really?
It was. Somebody else, I think, says so Luis Ortiz speaks Spanish, Miss Dominguez. So you might want to check up with Mr. Ortiz, okay? All right, so I think this is about covered everything that we have. Remember, guys, that Paula will be, it takes time to process this long of a recording, and then it gets uploaded to YouTube most of the time within 48 hours max, unless there is a huge technical difficulty, and it'll be there. Remember also that you have the Commons, the help button that has tons of resources to you, as well as Google.
Yep,
And
Google's my friend.
I mean, it used to be Wikipedia, now it's Google.
Yep.
So check those resources out. If those aren't, if you can't get the information you need from there, check with your Canvas champion. If that doesn't work, we're here. Know that we're trying to answer our mail. Well, Laura's mailbox is full, so you can't even email her. And know that we're trying to email you guys. When you send us an email, we're trying to respond quickly. But I'll be very honest with you, in the past 24 hours, I went from having 4 classes to 322 students that I need to wrap my brain around. So, and that's a lot of us. So we're all in this boat together, and we're trying to help. Check with everybody, check with other people. But again, if you can't figure it out, please feel free contacting us, and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as possible.
And I know from my age, right? There weren't computers, there weren't cell phones. There were barely computers when I went to college. And so if you're old like me, there might be this hesitation to do something that you could break it or you could mess it up, because you used to be able to do that. But you really have to kind of have the attitude of click on it and see what happens. Open it and see what's there, right? That's how we figured out most of this, is just see what's there. If you really can't find it, Google it. Somebody knows. And just, not to be so overwhelmed or afraid by it. Do the very best that you can do. And then for me, I'm just going to be, really upfront with parents, as I was last semester, right? Said, look, no, we've not done e-learning before. We've not used Canvas before. We're learning this together. Things aren't going to work. There's going to be technology glitches. I'm going to do something and it's not going to work right. It's not going to come through on your side right. Or you're going to do something and it's not going to upload right. Okay? And that's why I'm not doing any late penalties for this first quarter, at least, because they're still learning it. There's going to be glitches, but just have open communication. Let me know, this is the issue I'm having. This is what I'm running into. And let them know. I'm always very transparent with students and say, even when I'm brick and mortar and pencil and paper, you know what, guys, I'm not going to get this graded. You turned it in today, but you're not going to get a grade until Monday. I know you want a grade tomorrow, but I have a training tonight that I'm doing. And, I didn't get lunch today because I was doing something else. And so it's going to be 9 o'clock before I even get any food today. And I'm not grading it tonight. That's just all there is to it. And the kids would be like, okay, well, that makes sense. Make sure you have dinner, man. Right? Mm-hmm. So when they understand where you're coming from and what's going on, parents and students are very understanding. You're human. You can only do what you can do. And I know as teachers, we're used to kind of being in control of things and having our classroom just so and everything. And we know exactly what we're doing. And now we don't even have rosters or classes and don't even know what we're teaching in schools on Monday, right? So that is very stressful, especially for people that have that kind of personality, which is most teachers. Just take a deep breath. You're human. You can do what you can do. Do your very, very best. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. We ask our kids to do that all the time, right? And it'll all be okay.
Yep. I used to say is that, well, you made it through the day and the house didn't burn down. It was a good day.
Right? Yep.
Yep. For me, I made it through the day and I'm still alive. Bonus points.
Right?
So just like we said, take it easy. We'll try to help as much as we can. But, your administration shouldn't be, at least I don't think, is good because they don't know what they're doing. In fact,
Right.
I'm getting a text. I'm getting a text from admin saying there's things changing. So just know that they're in the same boat. So, and at this point, I guess we'll hand it back over to Paula.
And send Paula those messages as to what else you would want training on.
Appreciate it, ladies. You did a fantastic job again. I know everybody, it's a lot to chew on, but go back, review the previous videos on our channel. This one will get up, as Christina said, as soon as I can get it there. Send me any additional requests that you may have. And other than that, go get some rest. You deserve it. You need it.
Yep. Monday's coming.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
Good
All
night,
right.
everybody.